As a musician, you know the importance of learning your major and minor scales. And today we're going to talk about some additional scales or modes, as they're sometimes called, to add to your toolbox. This could be useful if you're a lead instrumentalist playing mandolin or electric guitar, if you're a choral accompanist and you are working through a difficult passage in one of the upcoming choral pieces, or maybe you're wanting to write new music and you're looking for different shades of color to work with. These extra modes will give you different ways to express that. The extra modes are Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, or also natural minor, and Locrian. The traditional way that these are taught is to play all of the white keys and move up a step each time. So for instance, major, and then if I start on D, you'd have Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian or natural minor, and then lastly Locrian. Now that's an easy way to find them, but if you're playing a song and you're not changing key every 5 seconds, you're going to need a quicker way to find them all in that same key. So what I'm going to do for ease of access is we're going to learn everything in the key of C, all right? The first one is C major, and I know you've heard this before. Most of the tunes in your worship service are in a major key, all right? Now we're going to move to Lydian. And the reason I'm doing that, I will show you later. There's a scale routine you can use to find these quickly. But next we're going to do Lydian. And Lydian is useful if you want to create a sense of lift as you're holding out a chord. So for instance, if you're holding out C, and if you need to resolve to there. What I did is I went from C to the D over C, and then I resolved to G over B, just because it felt good, okay? Elton John uses this a lot. So again, you can feel it creates that sense of expectation and lift. The next one we're going to go to is Mixolydian. So it's a major scale just with a flatted 7. You'll see that if you have a dominant chord that resolves to here, or if you're hanging out on the C chord and you want to create a sense of strength, makes you feel strong, right? So that's a great use for Mixolydian. Next, we're going to talk about a batch of minor chords. There's 4 of them. We're going to go in the order of Dorian, harmonic minor, melodic minor, and then natural minor. Okay, so starting with Dorian, that has a raised 6 and a flatted 7. Okay, now if we change that up a little bit, let's say that we flat the 6 and raise the 7, we have harmonic minor. What if we sharp both of them? We have melodic minor. That's really lifting us up now. But then what if we flat all of it? Then that really feels like we're getting pressed down. That's the natural minor. Now, where in the world would we hear all of this in a worship service? Well, I'm willing to bet in the season of Advent you've heard something like this. O Come, O Come, Emmanuel naturally uses a lot of different minor interpretations, and it's a great way to incorporate all 4 of those natural modes. Now, there are some additional natural modes. A little bit less common would be the Phrygian, and that is the natural minor scale with a flatted 2. Okay, this one you could use if you have a D flat chord that goes to C minor, right? Kind of sad into more sad. You might find that more commonly in a choral anthem or in a special piece. They do exist, maybe just not as commonly as some of the other ones do. Then we have Locrian. All right, Locrian is where we take everything that we've been building on, and now we're going to flat the 5 as well. This is what I like to call the almost scale. If you play it all together, it feels like it wants to go up to D flat major, right? Oh, we're not quite there yet. Now we are. Now all of these are movable, so you can have, okay, but the Locrian is just a good way to say the almost scale. All right, next we're gonna flat the 4. So far we've flatted the 2, the 6, the 7, the 3, because it's minor, and now we're gonna flat the 4, and we have an altered jazz scale. Let's just see how many things we can flat. This is a catch-all mode, okay? So if you're in a tradition that uses black gospel or jazz, and you've got a various amount of altered scales or augmented scales, this is gonna catch just about all of them. So augmented, for instance. Or if you have a flat 9, sharp 9, you might have a flatted 5 in there. All right, so it's pretty much going to catch just about anything that shows up in those. Closely related to that would be blues. You notice I only played 6 notes in that scale. Now there's different versions of this. There's versions that include the minor, or excuse me, include the major third and the 6. Just depends on what style of blues you're going for, but for the ease of access, I'm just using the 6-note version. And again, you can use this in conjunction with Mixolydian, right? Or if you're doing a black gospel tune, that has kind of a anything in that kind of tradition, you'll find that can be a helpful scale to use. And then lastly, we have the diminished. The diminished is the first 4 notes of C minor, followed by the first 4 notes of F sharp minor. Okay, so all together. And you'll notice it called all the diminished scale. Where are we going to use that? That sounds like scary Beethoven, right? Well, I'm willing to bet once again, during the season of Advent or Christmas, you probably played diminished, diminished. Or once again, if you're using the black gospel tradition, if you've ever wanted to play a Little Town of Bethlehem in more of a gospel vibe, you would probably see the diminished scale show up there. So I hope these different kinds of modes, the ones that branch out of major and minor, are helpful to you depending on what you're wanting to accomplish. Be sure to check out all of my other video options on rickbarnesmusic.com.